What I've got for you today is another motor mount video. This one's a little different. It's not on a diesel, it's not on an E-Class, it's actually on a CLK. It's for my wife's 2005 W209 CLK 320. And it's a sports car. It's, it's got a lot of rumble, got a lot of grumble. I don't really care if it's got a little bit more engine vibration than, let's say, an S-Class. I mean, this thing rides harder, and it rides a lot more sporty than your traditional E-Class or S-Class. So we decided to go with rubber mounts, and also they're less than half the price for Rhine mounts. Rhine, according to FCP Euro, is a OEM manufacturer, and so we decided to go with rubber mounts. And these things, I think, were like $23 each or something like that. It's less than half of the $50+ a piece for the hydraulic mounts. But here's something a little interesting I found. I thought this car had hydraulic mounts from the factory. I was wrong. This is actually the original mount, or at least I believe to be the original mount off the car. And if you'll look right there, you'll see that is a Mercedes-Benz part number on this solid rubber mount. Now, maybe it was an option from the factory. Maybe it was an option, after the cars were a few years old or something. But yeah, this is a original Mercedes solid rubber mount. I had no clue that Mercedes put solid rubber mounts on their later model cars. I mean, this is a 2005. I've worked on a lot of E-Classes, MLs, S-Classes. All of them have hydraulic mounts. And I was very surprised to find out this thing actually has solid rubber mounts. Also reassures me a little bit that going with solid mounts was a good idea. You can see the failure point of these mounts right down there. You can see all the way around. It's actually broken free. All the rubber is cracked all the way around there. The new mounts are they're made a little bit better. I can't show you because they're actually already installed in the car, but they're reinforced a little more all the way around there to prevent this from happening again. But I do believe these are actually the original mounts from the factory, so they lasted 160,000 miles, which is not that bad actually. Definitely better than the failure rate of the hydraulic mounts. Tools for this job, as really any other motor mount job, is a 16mm box end wrench to get the top bolt off of here. But if you've seen my other motor mount video I just did for my E-Class, this is not a normal box end wrench. Oh yeah, it bends. Now the reasoning for that is, in order to get to that top bolt, that thing's got to bend. I picked this thing up at Lowe's. I think it was like $10-15 or so. It's a Lowe's Cobalt tool here. So also, to get to the bolt on the bottom side, you're going to need a 13mm socket with extension. But one more thing, this is not a typical motor mount job, at least not to what I'm used to on diesels. And I'll show you why. Now, you might notice, if you're familiar with this car, that something's missing. And if you guessed exhaust, you'd be right. I had to remove the exhaust to get to this, and it was definitely a lot more than I originally thought I would have had to do to change the motor mounts on this car. But getting the exhaust out actually wasn't that hard. We've got two bolts up here, one right there, one right there. Same exact thing on the other side, one there and one there. You have 4 plugs for your oxygen sensors here. You got to remove those. And then follow the wire up, because you got like a clip here, you got a clip up there somewhere, you got another clip right there. And you're going to have to unclip all the wires to make sure when you drop the exhaust that they're not catching anything. Here's the exhaust. I had to remove this whole section here, all the way back on the car to the one of the rear. I believe that's a resonator. You got 3 bolts here as well. So to cover again, 3 bolts here, 1, 2, 3. Then we have 2 that we have to remove in here, 1 there and 1 there. And then 2 up here, and then 2 over there as well, as I covered earlier. And then your exhaust will drop straight down. And as you can see, you've got your 4 oxygen sensors there as well. Don't remove the oxygen sensors, only remove the plugs and the wires from the rest of the car. Once that's done, it's like any other motor mount job. If you want to see a little more in-depth in how to remove these things, how to put them in, take a look at my other motor mount job I did about 2 weeks ago. on my W211 E320 CDI. Once the exhaust is removed, the steps are almost identical. You've got a 16mm bolt on top up there, 13mm bolt on bottom, and then you're going to want to jack up. I use the bottom of the oil pan here. It's very rigid on the bottom. 2x4 across here with a jack, and lift that up. Gives you enough clearance to pull these motor mounts out from either side. These mounts have already been changed. I've already put them in, already torqued the bolts down. And I'm not going to show on camera how to do that because unlike on my E-Class, there is no room on the front of this engine to really even show those motor mounts. I figured if you're attempting this job anyway, you can either watch my my last motor mount video or you should know at least what to do from here on. So that is about it for motor mounts on this car. This applies to a W210, W211, W203. I believe the MLs as well have the same motor mounts. And this is for an M112 V6. Like I said, guys, if you want to see a little more in-depth how to change these things, watch my CDI motor mount change DIY video. I'll put a link for that in the description. So as usual, guys, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.